Been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. Well, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
This is Silver and Blue Nation, the voice of the fans. Here's Big Game James and producer G.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
What up? What up? What up? I gotta clear my throat.
Just FYI, you don't have to stop that.
Okay, my bad.
But it's all good.
I knew it was gonna do that, but it's all good. You know, Big Game James, he's on the ones and twos over here, just trying to just cooking up some things. And now I told y'all before, I got the things back in the crib, so watch out. Anyway, Big Game James.
It's producer G over here, and to clear him up, he's talking about he can stream from the house now.
Yeah, it's on like Donkey Kong, fools, like I said before. And if you ever played Donkey Kong like I did back in the day, I'm going to be the big gorilla, and I'm going to be winning. I'm going to throw like 1,000 barrels at y'all, and you better be ready.
Appreciate you guys tuning in right now. Please give us a like and a share. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. We're going to talk some Cowboys today, a lot of free agency news. Let me give a quick couple shout-outs on YouTube. I'm sure you're in Facebook right now, Big Game James. You can check that out if you want. But
yes, sir.
I want to give a little bit more love to YouTube. We got Daniel Meza in there. What's going on?
What up, Daniel?
Joe Martinez, No Dak Ninja, Whammy.5, Big D Hernandez. Appreciate you guys leaving comments over there on YouTube and everybody watching on Facebook as well.
Yeah, let me give my shout-outs to all my Facebook people out there. You know our usuals. We got Hulk Logan said he's at the gym. That's why you got the name Hulk Logan. You got to be
Hulk.
You got to be a big dude to be a Hulk Logan. Like that's what you have to do. You have to lift weights. So you're doing what your name says. So continue to do that, Hulk Logan. Katina as usual. Stephen Arthur, Catherine Elizabeth Ramos. What's up? It's been a long time. Good to see you again. Russell Harrison, of course. You know we repping that sweater right there. Jawan James. Who else? Dallas Peppers Sr., Kim Davis Johnson, Brian Carasico Senior, I think. Oscar Torres. I'm not good at them names like you are. Daniel Balinado. And this is Mama T. Thank you for jumping in there, Mama T, because I know your North Carolina boys are playing today in the NCAA tournament. I know the NCAA tournament is going on. But jump in here and talk to us a little bit about some Cowboys and some good free agent signings that we've been having recently, and getting a little bit more excited because Cowboys fans were frustrated that they were not jumping to the gun like a lot of these teams do. But Cowboys don't do that any longer.
Yes. But they still seem to put together a quiet little class of free agents. But keep the comments coming. If we don't hit yours right away, we'll get to it at some point throughout the show. We'll be here for about an hour. We're going to hit on a lot of these free agency topics, and let's just get right into it then. I will just go ahead and put this graphic up here showing the players that the Cowboys have gotten and lost so far this offseason.
Right. So if you look at that list right there, let's go with the losses. Cole Beasley, Damian Wilson, Jeff Swain. I like Jeff Swain, but it's not going to be a huge loss. He signed with Jacksonville, so that's not going to be a huge loss with us, but I did like him as a player and a person. Damian Wilson, also not a huge loss, more of a rotational player. I thought he was going to do something a little bit more in his career in Dallas, but it wasn't meant to be. Cole Beasley, you would say, was a bigger loss out of everybody out of that list, but once again, not a huge loss in my eyes because, as I said before, we should have traded him, got some draft picks, and kind of used that for us. But he's with the Buffalo Bills now. Hey,
they rebounded with getting Cobb.
Yeah, big ups to getting Cole Beasley over there, getting your money. But like you said, we got Randall Cobb. Dallas did get Randall Cobb. And at the end of the day, I think he's a lot better player than Cole Beasley.
Yeah, we'll dive into that.
Exactly.
But let's go ahead then and talk about a guy.
What up, Dwan?
This is the list of guys that have been acquired, but there's another guy that could be acquired that everybody's wanting to know about. Do you have any updates on him? Like, what's the latest? You think the Cowboys will actually get Robert Quinn? I seen Mike Fisher put something out there. He bet something on it that the Cowboys will get him.
Well, I've been very staunch, and you've known that since we've known each other. I remember I've talked to you even when we were in media school that I liked Robert Quinn even when he was with the Rams.
Yep.
When he had the 19 sacks, I liked him at North Carolina. He was a player that's always been on my radar because I like the size dimension. He wasn't like a Julius Peppers, but he would remind me of that type of player. because of his size, his physical ability, and I always just kept an eye on him. When I heard about a couple months ago that they were possibly going to, release him or trade him, I was just instantly thinking, man, if you could get him on the opposite side of DeMarcus Lawrence, because you have the situation with Randy Gregory, you don't know what's going on with Taco, and I don't know if he's going to be that type of guy. And you still have Dorrance Armstrong Jr. coming off his rookie year. You want to have somebody solidify that right side, and I thought he'd be a great addition. It's been the back and forth. He came to Dallas. He met with Rob Marinelli. He met with Chris Richard on a great lunch. Then Willie McClay jumped in the fold. He was supposed to go up to meet and talk to Jerry Jones. There's been rumblings that a 2020 draft pick, which I suggested the day before they even talked about it, that they throw that out there. They came back and said that it's probably going to, if it is, it's going to be probably like a fourth rounder, 2020 pick. Now it would just have to be, he was supposed to go to the Saints. He never went. And now it's kind of just like maybe the Dolphins are waiting to try to see if they can get possibly the best offer they can. And also Robert Quinn has to agree with the trade. So he's probably trying to look at some other teams as well to see what kind of extension he can get as far as the team goes, because that might be the holdup with the Cowboys, is the extension part of the proposed maybe deal.
Yeah, that would be a monster pair, don't you think, with DeMarcus Lawrence and Robert Quinn
Especially
coming off the edges?
Yes, definitely. I mean,
It'd be a nightmare for
people.
quarterbacks.
I've heard people. I've heard people saying, "Oh, well, what about we just get rid of DeMarcus Lawrence and get Quinn and then get picks?" No, don't do that. I mean, I don't care. I like Robert Quinn, but he's not better than DeMarcus Lawrence. I don't care what you say to me. The only thing that's really been happening with DeMarcus Lawrence lately has been the injuries, but you've seen when he's been healthy what he can do. And I just feel like we need to get DeMarcus Lawrence signed. Somehow they need to get him in the camp, get that surgery, get that signed. Press hard to get Quinn, because when we talk about the other the other free agents that we have, that's just, to me, going to be the icing on the cake compared to what we have. Then you can go into the draft. As I said in my live video, you can go in the draft with a luxury. You don't have to go in the draft like we did with Taco and have to reach because they were pressing to get a quote-unquote war daddy because DeMarcus Lawrence was coming off the back injury and the suspension, correct? So we kind of reached and went for Taco in that first round because they felt like they needed to get the defensive end. Well, if you get a Quinn and you already got Kerry Hyder as well, and then you got Covington, which we will always also discuss, it makes you easier to go on that draft as a luxury because we're at pick 58. Excuse me. That first round pick is gone because of Amari Cooper. We already know we're winning in that. So you go in the second round, you're looking at, you got George Iocca, but you can still hit that safety. There's going to be some guys available that you can hit. Taylor Rapp is really becoming a hot name within the Cowboys circles, and he's a really good player. That could be a young safety you could snatch up at that pick, and then you're looking at your fourth. You got 2 fourths, you got a fifth. You don't know what you can do, but you can do a whole bunch of things, and that draft looks really good because of the free agent pickups that you got during the offseason.
Yeah, we'll be diving a little bit more into the draft talk as well after we go through some of these free agents that we've picked up and kind of talk about where they fit in with the team and things like that. But before we move along, we should probably thank the supporters that we have. You can support the page here on Facebook for $4.99 a month. That's it, just $4.99 a month. You'll receive exclusive content. This is only on Facebook where you can do this, unfortunately not for YouTube, but if you're on YouTube, you'd like to send us donations, help us keep running, we'd appreciate that as well. Make sure you give us a like, a share, subscribe to if it's your first time watching. We're always putting out Cowboys content, and we'd like to be interactive with you guys, get your opinions out there. I know a lot of people are jumping in here on Facebook. I've seen Jamal Anderson in there, Mr. Hargrove, Floyd Perea, Willie Stovall, what's going on? Appreciate you guys. And you want to give a thanks to some of our supporters that we have?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give some shout-outs to our Facebook supporters. We got, as our Facebook supporters, Vondell Jackson, who's been a long-time supporter. Raymond Burrows, we definitely appreciate you. Ron Smith, we already know Ron Smith's been with us from the very beginning, and we appreciate you out there in Salt Lake City. And also Floyd Hope Jr., who's became a recent Facebook supporter. So please, hey, it's only $4.99. Like I said, it's going to continue to help us do what we're trying to do and get better and grow. And that's what we have, a lot of things that's going on behind the scenes that we're putting together, but we still need continued support to do what we do. Also on our Patreon, proud Patreon supporters, we got Erica Shaney. We love you over there, Eric. Katina, who's been with us from day one. We love you, Katina Wright. Marvin Hargrove, who you mentioned, who's been a super supporter of us, and we love you, Marvin Hargrove, and Ron Garrett, who's also been a great supporter. I talk to Ron a lot in the inbox. We talk football a lot, and also Will Richards, who's out here in Columbus, Ohio, with us.
Yes.
And we haven't talked to Will as much, but he definitely still supports and sneaks in there when it goes down. So we definitely appreciate the supporters. Please, we'd like to have some more supporters to continue to build Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James, and continue to grow. You wait till you see what's going to happen during this football season. For real, some stuff is really going on, especially with me being able to do the home streaming at the crib now. It's going down, like I said.
Speaking of supporters, Floyd Hope Jr. jumps in the stream. What's going on, Floyd? Appreciate you for your comment. And John Bailey and Greg Mills asking about a Robert Quinn update. We kind of just talked about that, so you can kind of probably scroll back. I believe you can scroll back and watch the beginning of the show. You'll see there where we just hit on Robert Quinn, and then come back with us and leave some comments. Again, we can't thank you guys enough for subscribing. And if you want to do it on Facebook, right down there, right next to where you make a comment, there's a little badge. You can do it right there. That's where you can sign up for our monthly service, and you can get some behind the scenes, some exclusive stuff that only you guys can see who subscribe. We haven't put a lot out yet, but we will as soon as we get some people.
And I just want to give a shout out to a few of my peoples out that just jumped in. Alec Cash Money, what's up with you, dog? These are two young Skywalkers, I call them. Will Still Senior. These are two Skywalkers. Make sure you check those guys out. They're both out there doing their own thing and grinding hard, and they got a lot of Cowboys knowledge. Please make sure you check them out. Them is the young Skywalkers. Boothang jumped in there, so I definitely appreciate you. Jamal Anderson, that's one of our great supporters. We got the chance to meet him in Texas. That was a great time. And he said he's got a 6-year-old son sitting in front there watching us right now. So he's teaching them the right way by starting out by Silver and Blue Nation. So we definitely appreciate you raising up the right way.
We'll be back, Jamal. Appreciate that support. And before we move along, we're going to be getting into the free agents. Again, we're just giving you a rundown. We're going to talk to free agents that have been signed, kind of compare Cole Beasley, Randall Cobb a little bit, see what we might have gained or lost there, and then also hit on some draft news. So let's go ahead and jump into.
Can I get some glory hole?
Yes, that's what I meant to say too. I saw Ron Garrett talking about it in there. He loves some glory hole. Let's hear glory hole.
And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
There it is.
You feel me? There it is. And I'm going to give it to you whenever you want, but don't go crazy with it.
Hopefully we get back to some glory hole. That would be nice.
Some glory hole days.
So
let's jump into these signings.
Yes, so Robert Quinn was a guy that we hope to get. We haven't gotten, but the talks are there. Everybody's kind of hopeful. But the biggest one, Randall Cobb.
Yeah, Randall Cobb, huge signing to me because, Randall Cobb had came in and it kind of did it like the Allen Hurns of last year when Allen Hurns, everybody was hyped up because, the Dez Bryant situation. We were needing a receiver. He had some good years at Jacksonville. So when he came into Cowboys, the Cowboys headquarters, a lot of people were excited. We were excited. Just the fact that we needed another receiver in the fold. He left the building. It was kind of like, man, Dallas be coming, letting him come in, and then they let him leave. Next thing you know, signs. Same thing with Randall Cobb right here. Randall Cobb comes in, visits. He leaves without the contract. Then next thing you know, boom, they hit him with a 1-year, $5 million deal, which I love the Cobb signing because I watched Cobb. A lot of people watch Cobb. He's been nasty. Of course, he had Aaron Rodgers. We understand that. Of course, he had Aaron Rodgers, one of the best. But I don't care. Cobb was a beastie receiver. If you look at his career, he's played 105 games. He's had over 470 receptions for over 5,000 yards, 41 total TDs. Didn't have a huge year last year, played in 9 games because of the injury, but he still had a respectable 38 catches. And the thing I love about Randall Cobb is his size. He's not like a tall receiver, but he's about 5'10", maybe 5'11", but he's nice and thick and compact, and he's that good stop and go, and he's great with after the catch. And I think that's what we like with Dak Prescott because he doesn't throw, even though people dog him, I think he can throw deep, but you can utilize Cobb in that quick passing game. And you could utilize when you had Beasley, but Beasley, if you threw the ball to Beasley would get caught. We already know that when we had Beasley on punt returns, Beasley wasn't doing nothing on punt returns. Beasley, after the catch, okay, you're going to maybe get 5-6 yards, but you're going to catch Cole Beasley. Randall Cobb is a threat to take it to the house. You can use him as a running back. You can use him in the slot. You can put him on the outside. Punt returns, kick returns, he's versatile. And as long as he's healthy, that's a huge signing for the Cowboys and a pretty good contract for the boys as well.
Yes, can't go wrong with a Randall Cobb. My only concern is a little bit of injury, but we'll see. I mean, I feel like the receiving core looks pretty good, but I feel like at least 3 of those guys are really injury prone. Cobb, Hearns, Austin. Those 3 guys have a history of being injured. But then you got Cooper and Gallup, who they were both great last year. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I look at it like I said. He has the injury, but you also have other guys in the fold. We still have Noah Brown in the fold. You still have Cedric Wilson, who was injured last year on injury reserve, coming off that. So if you look at the core, you got Amari Cooper, you got Michael Gallup, you got Randall Cobb, and then if you guys got these guys coming off the bench, if Tavon Austin is healthy and he signed a really good contract, that's the one thing I was looking at was what he signed for. He signed for $1.3 million, 500 of that, 500,000 that is the guarantee. That's a great contract for the Cowboys. So now you don't trip off Tavon Austin. He made over $5 million last year, didn't play. Now you look at this is a luxury if he's only playing for $1 million. He doesn't trip out. So if he gets hurt a little bit, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that doesn't bother me as much. And then you still got the Cedric Wilson, as I said. Noah Brown is still young. It's competition now because now, as I said before, Cowboys want competition. That's what I like. When you get competition at the position, you don't want to have come in there just feeling like, okay, these guys are set. You want other guys coming in there and pushing them. So everybody's going to want to get on the field, and it's just going to make the receiving core better. But if you're flexing out there with those 3 guys, I'm feeling real good. If you see Blake Jarwin and those guys stepping up, you still got old man Witten come back in the fold. That'll help because now the quote-unquote security blanket Dak will have. So you're looking at an offense when they also sign up their offensive line. They got their backups, Joe Looney. They got Cam Fleming together. They got the kid from Kansas City. And then if they could possibly draft a running back, as I said, it makes it easier in the draft. Your offense looks really good, especially with that Cobb signing.
Floyd Perez says Cobb. I'm looking at Facebook. Again, we're live on Facebook and YouTube right now if you just tuned in. Floyd says Cobb is a great red zone target. Floyd Hope says, is Cobb still faster than Beasley? Yes. And
he's definitely faster than Beasley. And like I said, when have you ever seen Beasley catch the ball and take it to the house? Beasley ain't catching the ball. You seen that one play, I believe, last year when they played against the Bears, and he caught the one over the middle and took it to 73 yards to the house and pretty much won the game. Cole Beasley ain't doing that. Cole Beasley is not doing that. He's not taking nothing 76 yards.
No. I never really cared for, especially towards the end of their last season. Cole Beasley just always kind of had, bad body language. Always seemed like disengaged or annoyed at something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
it's the way he carried himself.
I mean, it's just, he just wanted his money and just, it was just a thing. He wanted to probably get his money. And I told you before, he's got that second career with that rap career. And I'm telling you, you go over there, Buffalo, and he signed that big money. That helps your rap career.
Well, since we're talking Beasley and Cobb, and I'm going to get to some shout-outs on Facebook and YouTube in a minute as we're moving along here. Let's go ahead and make the comparison then. We got some stats from their best seasons last season, their contracts and their age, and you can just see all the differences right there.
I mean, and all the differences. Like I said, to me, I don't understand when they try to compare because it's not a comparison to me. Cobb is a better player, this period. Cole is good, but Cobb is better, and it's been known. When we seen Cobb, you seen Cobb when he played against us. You feel me? Cobb he used to kick our butts. He kicked our butts in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So Cobb is a good player. He's a better player than Cole Beasley. I don't know what the debate is about. He's a little bit younger, and he just offers more, like I said, as far as versatility. So take that thing down. We already know Cobb better.
Appreciate all the support, the likes, the shares, the comments. We appreciate all that on Facebook and YouTube. Please keep it coming in. But yes, and if you can't tell because it's being blocked up in the top there, that top column is their career totals, and then their best seasons versus each other. So Cobb with the big upper hand. He's cheaper and younger.
Yeah,
so we'll take that all day.
Take that all day.
So we're going to move on then to probably what I would consider probably the next it's the most recent signing, the new safety, George Iloka.
Okay, yeah, George Iloka. Now, here's my thing about George Iloka. I'm not jumping and doing cartwheels that we got him or Dallas did sign him. I'm happy because, he's a veteran. He had good years at Cincinnati. He's played both positions, free safety and strong safety. Started out playing strong safety in Cincinnati, had some really good years. First 3 years played at strong safety position. The last 2 years at Cincinnati played the free safety position. had like 6 interceptions when playing strong safety, 4 when he played the free safety. So he had 9 total interceptions in his career. Now, I think the good thing about George is that he's going to fit the Cowboys system. Cowboys don't have a complex or complicated system back there on the defense. I think Chris Richard is going to continue to make him better. He's about 28 years old, good size, 6'4", 200-something pounds, so he can help as far as Xavier Woods, because I want Xavier Woods to be that free safety guy who's out there getting those picks. A guy like George could do it. Now, I'm not knocking off Heath. First of all, I'm not knocking off Heath because Heath had a great year last year. He had 85 tackles, had the 1 interception, had his best year starting 16 games. So I'm not knocking Heath. But what I am saying is I think the situation is, to me, is Iuka is a little bit more of an upgrade. It's going to create competition at the position. He only signed a 1-year deal, so he's really not guaranteed to even make the team. But it's more competition at the position, and he's a veteran. And I think that if you can solidify that and still draft a real young guy who you think who can be like a pairing with Woods, go ahead and do that. I like the signing because he offers good things. He averaged about 64 tackles at strong safety, 72 at the free safety. So the guy can tackle. And one of the problems we had with Jeff Heath is missed tackles, and I think he was the #1 safety in the league for missed tackles in the running game. So as good as Heath did, I feel like Iuka's a little bit more sure tackler, and he's a bigger size. So we'll see how it pans out when that training camp starts out.
You think he starts over Heath, or
I don't know.
What do you
I
think ultimately
don't
happens?
think he's coming in with a guaranteed spot. He's not coming in with a guarantee. I don't think they came in and said, we're guaranteeing you're going to start, because they really love Jeff Heath. And like I said, Heath has come off a career year last year. So to me, it's more competition at the position. And I like that because now, Heath has to have somebody push him every year, because I don't feel like Heath is a starter. I think he's better in spurts. I think when you have Heath coming off the bench, he's a better playmaker because he's not put with the pressure of having to make plays every time. When he just can come in and just do a few things and play on special teams, I feel like that's when you see his playmaking ability better. So that's why I would like to see somebody else start at the position, Heath come off the bench, and then you groom a young guy by drafting them in the draft this year.
And you think there's no more chance at Eric Berry?
I'm not going to say there's no more chance, but from what I heard about from Barry's camp, from me listening to the streets, was Barry's camp didn't want a prove-it deal. They didn't want somebody to give them like a 1-year deal to prove it, to make sure you're healthy or anything like that. He wants to get a multi-year deal because at the end of the day, he's 30 years old. This is probably his last contract, especially with the cancer that he had, which went in remission. But you still had 2 major injuries, and you only played like 3 games in 2 years. So he's trying to get a long-term deal because this is probably his last contract. Dallas is probably not going to do something like that. So that's why you probably saw him leave the building.
Looking at Facebook, Daquan Cole says, how do you pronounce his name again? It's George Iloka. So maybe a name to get used to, maybe not. We'll see, like you said, when camp comes around. So I guess we'll move on then to another acquisition of the Cowboys for free agency. There's 3 more guys. We're not going to only talk about Witten because we already know what we got from him.
Right.
But now we'll look on the defensive line and Kerry Hyder.
Kerry Hyder is a big signing to me, especially we've been talking about these guys being healthy. He had an Achilles injury in 2017. His best year was 2016, where he had 8 sacks, 36 tackles. I posted a highlight video. I heard about him. He played against us, but I didn't know too much about him. I basically went through a lot of his tape. Good player, strong player. He's about 6'2", 270 pounds, but he's got that thick 270. Real strong bull rush. He can play different positions. He can play the right end, can play the left end, can play inside, can play over the center. So you like the versatility that he brings, and he has a nonstop motor. I think that's the biggest thing that the 2 signings we're going to talk about, Covington as well, that both of these guys have nonstop motors. And what does Ron Marinelli love on that defensive line? People with effort all the time, nonstop motors. So you could really look at this as a Ron Marinelli signings, because these are the type of players that he likes to work with. He's a master on the defensive line. Just let him concentrate on that and get that good rotation, and it creates quality depth. So the Hyder signing is big because I think a lot of people are sleeping on him, and a lot of people from the Detroit camp were like, hey, you're getting a really good player. So you get a guy to him that can blend with Crawford, can blend with Malik Collins, can blend with Antoine Woods. It just makes the defensive line better. So Hyder is a really big signing for me, especially he had 8 sacks in 2016.
If you just tuned in, we're talking free agency. We're talking the players the Cowboys have acquired, how they might fit in with the team. Obviously, this is pre-draft. Things change after the draft, so we're kind of just going over what's happened so far. And we're going to talk some draft. I know some people had some draft questions, who we might take. We're going to be getting into that as soon as we get finished here going through some of these players.
What up, KG?
I was going to say, let's go ahead and give a few shout-outs and thank people who support the page. You can always support for $4.99 a month. On Facebook, you can go down there and hit that little supporter badge right next to where you leave comments to receive exclusive content with us that only you can see if you're subscribed. Let me give a few YouTube shout-outs as well because we got a few people watching there. Mark Hayes, appreciate you over there. Kieris Henderson, K9 Cowboy, Cowboys Vet 71, John Jones, Stevie Mack, I seen you in there. South of Heaven 88, appreciate you.
South of Heaven,
Jeff
I like that
Pertite. Thank you all for leaving comments on YouTube. We're going to be eventually doing some YouTube exclusive stuff too. So make sure you guys on Facebook, if you're not there yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Silver and Blue Nation, for weekly content.
I want to jump in here and hit a question right quick. Trail Manning, what's up with your big dog? Sorry, I haven't got to a lot of them, but he does ask about the Tyrone Crawford situation because, you know, while we're talking about the free agents, that was something that happened. I don't know if people have heard it. You probably have. It was on TMZ where he was in a bar and he got in a scuffle with some bouncers. Some police got involved. I guess the video shows him going after the bouncers and kind of shoving the police. No arrests were made on Crawford, and it happened this was like a week ago from the incident being reported. So my thing is there was no arrest, so it obviously wasn't that huge. But it's just, to me, I'm kind of got used to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even tripping. Maybe I'm not tripping, but when I hear something like this, I'm just like, oh, well, I'm just used to it now. I'm just used to somebody being in trouble. What the funny thing about it is, I know we talk about Zeke, it's always on the defense. Like, all the defensive players, all the players that are getting in trouble all the time are always defensive players on the team.
Particularly on the line.
Yeah, and particularly it is all on the line. Pretty much everybody that's getting in trouble, it's somebody on the line. So I don't know.
DeMarcus Lawrence said that you got to be crazy to play this game. So he must be talking about that.
And he said sometimes I just want to slap the hell out of y'all. So
talking to the reporters.
I mean, so maybe they just want to get that frustration out. So I'm not, like I said, I'm just, when I hear it, I'm just like, oh well, I'll post it and show it, but I don't really speak on it because I just feel like something like that's gonna happen every year, and I'm kind of just used to it now.
Let me give a few Facebook shout outs before we move along. Daquan Coles, he says, y'all going to make shirts with the Silver and Blue Nation logo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at some point we're going to
talk to G about that. I've been banging his head about it.
I mean, we got to have money to put into it to make shirts.
Support.
So the support helps with that.
Support Daquan.
The likes, the shares.
Daquan
like
support.
Floyd Hope Jr., you can see the supporter badge that he has. Get a badge like him by supporting us on the page. Appreciate it. What's up, Mitchell Henley? Mama T's in there. She's back. Christopher Glover, Daniel Candelara, Gregory Davis, Jesse Trout. We already talked about Quinn at the beginning of the show, so you can wait till it's over, rewatch it, or some of you can rewind this show right now and take a look at. That was our first topic today. And appreciate all of you who are leaving comments on Facebook there too. If we didn't get yours or give you a shout out, you got to keep commenting so we'll see your name and then shout you out. So moving forward then with our free agency, we've already talked about Robert Quinn, who's a possibility to come. But as far as guys we signed, Randall Cobb, George Iloka, Kerry Hyder. Now we're going to talk about another guy on the defensive line, Christian Covington.
I love the Christian Covington signing. Not to be confused with Chris Covington, the linebacker from Indiana. Now, Covington, the linebacker, we'll see what he's going to do because, he drafted in the 5th round, so we'll see what he's going to do. But as far as Covington, I like the Covington signing because, number one, the size, about 6'2", 310, reminds me of the same person like Antoine Woods. Nobody really knew what Antoine Woods was going to do, and he came in and like gangbusters. Now, Covington actually played last year, 12 games, had 3.5 sacks, was actually a career year for him. Another guy who has a motor that doesn't stop. I watched his highlights at Rice, guy who's quick off the ball, good size, and he can plug up the hole, but he has a good rush. I just think that he's great depth, and you can put him with Woods. Woods comes out a little bit, needs a rest. Now you can bring a Covington in who you feel better about. And, you still got Daniel Ross, who people forget about signing him. Daniel Ross is a good signing. So now you look at that defensive line position, you're feeling good. So once again, you go into that draft thinking, I could still get a defensive tackle. You understand what I'm saying? The guys that you have signed up, and he's a cheap. He's not costing you a lot of money, and he's young. He's only 25 years old. So if you're looking at the line, just like we said before, we're like one of the top 5 youngest teams in the league. Right now, we were one of the youngest teams in the playoffs. You add these young guys that are crazy motors with talent. Then you go in the draft, maybe you get another defensive tackle. All of a sudden, that thing that looked bare now looks like a strength. And now you're looking like a full-fledged team, and then it just has to be the coaching if we have injury-free type year.
Yeah, you feel pretty good about this draft, too, with the free agents they've signed so far.
Exactly.
You can kind of draft like the best available type.
Exactly. That's
deal
what
here.
That's the whole purpose of this, and that's what the Cowboys were doing. So, once again, Cowboys fans, we go off, we go crazy. Why ain't they signing this? Why ain't they signing that? The Cowboys take their time. Stephen Jones is not going to run out there. Like I said, you ought to read that article where I said, why are we surprised about the Cowboys free agency? We shouldn't be, because Stephen Jones said he's not going out there reaching and signing those big-name players just to overpay them. He's not going to do that. He's going to find quality talent for the best buy. And if it has to be the bargain basement guys, yes, it will. But at least these guys that we're getting aren't like 30 years old, 31-year-old guys. These are guys that are young. These are guys that are like 24, 25, 26 years old. So you're looking at them to blend in with the team because they're not bringing the team down with their age. So I like the way they picked up and stayed the course in the free agency bin. And then, like I said, it makes the draft more of a luxury. And that's what you want. You don't want to have to go in the draft feeling like you're forced to draft certain players, because if you do, you end up overdrafting a player who might not be that player, but you're drafting them up because you feel the need. And once again, that's what I feel what happened with Taco. We don't want to have to go in the draft like that. We want to go in the draft best player available. Hey, we can get a safety at 58. Hey, you can get a defensive tackle. You can even get a receiver. You had Deebo Samuel, who I really like. You can get a receiver, and you still aren't going to feel bad because you did your backup with signing Cobb, and on your defense, you got good free agents.
Looking at Facebook, Andrew Rogers says, what could we do about the Damian Wilson situation? He's already signed with the Chiefs. So
yeah, he's already gone.
That's done. And Ron Garrett said we should do a Get Him shirt with the Get Him on the front. And
yes.
Then he said Silver and Blue Nation on the back with the Cowboy star.
Yeah, I've already felt that. We've already been in the lab. I've been in the lab personally on Get Him.
What's up, Eddie Jacobs, Nathaniel Johnson, Danny Easley, rather. Grace Gomez, appreciate you. Hulk Logan says, how exactly does the supporter thing work? Does it re-up every month automatically, or do I have to do it myself? So how it works is the little badge down there by where you leave your comments. You press the badge, and you should have some kind of payment method attached to your Facebook account. It's $4.99 a month. It's only on Facebook. You can cancel it at any time, and we'll use a hashtag supporters when we put out exclusive content just for the people that support us. But we need to get a few of them in there before we can really start making exclusive content. So we'd appreciate that support. It'll help keep us going, help us do things like T-shirts and other things like that for people who are fans of the shows, other type of merchandise too.
Yes, and my homeboy DeJuan, we grew up with each other, went to school, middle school. That's how deep we are. We went to junior high together, so that's how deep we are in the game. He just became a proud supporter of Silver and Blue Nation. We definitely appreciate that.
Yes.
Hulk Logan, jump on in there. Hey, you got 1, you got 2, you got 3. Let's keep going with it.
Daquan Coles just gave us a support.
Yes, sir.
Fire off one of them sound effects. It says alarm. Fire that off for those people that just became supporters. Yes. Appreciate all you supporters. Anybody who becomes. We'll do our best to try to bring you some exclusive stuff, especially when the season comes. It's really going to heat up. Everybody's going to love it throughout the season. It'll turn off.
I got you. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, and again, keep the comments coming for the shout-outs. Ray Guillermo, hopefully I said that right. Terrell Johnson, what's going on, everybody? Appreciate you all tuning in. If you just joined, we've been talking free agency, the players that we've gotten, the players that we've lost. We're just about done running through the guys that we've acquired. And if you miss anything, you can rewatch the show right when we're done. Maybe some of you can rewind it right now, but it's best to be here live with us. So real quick, we'll hit on this last one. You don't want to talk much about him, but he was signed. the tight end Cody McElroy or Nick Elroy, however you say it, from the Rams. Didn't play.
Yes, I'm not.
Big unknown there.
You keep on trying to tell me about the big unknown with him, and Cowboys have known to have.
Well, you're just rolling them out.
I know we've been known and we've been great to bring out guys out the woodwork, and we can mention tons of guys that have had successful careers or have done good that we brought out of nowhere. But I'm not counting him because Blake Jarwin and Schultz, are they world beaters? No, but they're good, and they're going to push them. And then you got Witten, who's going to get snaps. They didn't bring him in to just sit the bench. That's Jason Witten. You think Jason Witten is going to be sitting the bench? You're crazy in your dome if you think he's going to come back and be sitting on the daggone bench. Jason Witten's going to be playing. He's going to be playing a lot. I don't give a hell what anybody say. So I don't know how some Cody McElroy or whatever your name is going to get on the field at all.
Put some
and
respect.
You still got Rico Gathers on the team.
Put some respect on Witten's name.
I'm just saying he's going to play a lot. That's a fact.
Got to respect him.
You know what I mean? So that's why I'm not talking about Mr. Cody. I ain't hating on you, Cody, dog. I'm not hating on you at all. But I don't know about you. You didn't play. I ain't seen but 2 highlights, and one of them was you got caught. You caught the ball and got smacked and fumbled, and that's not a good highlight. So I'm just sorry. I'm just not going to really count you right now with the other guys. If you jump out there and start showing, I will give you all kind of love on here. But as of right now, no.
So Rico Gathers still has a chance right now.
I mean, he don't have a chance to me, but he's still on the roster. So if anybody who's still on the roster, I guess you still have a chance.
Dalton Schultz was a draft pick last year. Hopefully,
4th rounder, and you know they're going to try to
big.
play him. And if you watched, he was slippy. He had a good game against the Colts, had 3 catches, even though we were getting beat up. But he was making some plays. He was a good blocker at Stanford. The guy that we're really trying to push is Blake Jarwin. He had the breakout game against the Giants. He showed a little bit afterwards, had an ankle injury, so he couldn't really show in the playoffs, but he still toughed it out, so that's what I liked about him. But he has really good length, and he was a guy that played really good, and he was an undrafted player from Oklahoma State. So I think Blake Jarwin is a guy, and you can still go in there and draft a tight end. There's guys out there. There's a guy named, his name is Dax. I got to get his full name, but he came in for a visit. He's coming in for a visit from Utah State. Watch this tight end from Utah State. Give me the last name, Dax Raymond, I think. He might be a guy the Cowboys may draft because the Cowboys, I still believe, are going to draft a tight end in this 2019 draft.
Over here on YouTube, just a couple shout-outs. What's going on? Donovan, Jeremy X, Anthony Lavelle. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Ackleo3 and leaving comments over there. We appreciate that. And, again, to you people over here on Facebook, too, leaving us all the comments and trying to become supporters. We appreciate that. Mr. Hargrove said he's having problems becoming a supporter. If you want to get with me after the show, Mr. Hargrove, we can inbox about it. I'll try to walk you through it. But I also seen him hashtag Let's Go Duke, so that's a big game tonight. I know it's not Cowboys related, but you guys can let us know in the comments if you watch who you got tonight. Big game, or today, rather. Was it like 5 o'clock?
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock. I mean,
Duke, and was it UCF?
Yeah, UCF, and they got the taco guy? What's his last name? Taco something.
He's 7'6". I know
right,
that.
And he's basically saying that Zion Williamson ain't gonna dunk on him. So you know Zion Williamson is gonna try to dunk on you, dog. And honestly, it probably gonna happen. I'm not gonna say because Zion Williamson ain't no little dude. Taco's like 7'6", 310, but Williamson is 6'7". 285 pounds, and that's a very big man. That's a big man. I love Larry Johnson. Anybody who followed NBA, Larry Johnson was a beast and a dog, and he was a bully. And he was only 250, and he was a bully. You got a dude that's 285 coming at you that hard, you might get dunked on, dog. So get ready. I think a poster may happen because he's going to take that personal. So I think it's going to happen.
Back in Facebook, John Patrick says, yo, what's up, Law Nation? You got the wrong page, John.
Yeah, I definitely don't got the beard rocking like he does. I mean, like that's James Harden for real. Everybody says it about him.
You look like Dave Chappelle in my
mind. They give me the Chappelle. I'll take that because he's rich.
But if you guys want to go follow Law Nation, you can on YouTube. And he's not on Facebook anymore, but he's got Instagram as well. So
yes, Law Nation, shout
go
out
over there. Give him a follow. He does live videos all the time. But so we talked about all the free agents that we brought in.
Right.
So that's pretty much it with our free agency update. But so now, before we jump into the draft, there's one little thing that was in the news this week too about one of our all-time greats, Des Bryant, back in the news. wanting to get on a team. He says wherever he go, he's going to be a steal. He said you can bet on it. You think is there any chance the Cowboys are interested? And if not, I mean, do you think he's going to do something coming back?
Hell
coming off
no.
that Achilles?
He is not coming back to no Dallas as long as Stephen Jones is in operation. To me, that is personal. I posted a video where I believe he was at the fight, the Errol Spencer Jr. fight, Jr. fight,
hugging Jerry.
and him and Jerry were hugging, but I didn't see no hug with no Stephen Jones. I ain't see no hugs with Stephen Jones at all, and I don't think I will see a hug with Stephen Jones. Dez Bryant is never coming back. I ain't going to say never because you can't say that. But I'm going to say 99.9% Dez Bryant is not coming back to the Dallas Cowboys. That ship has sailed. He might be a steal somewhere, but it's going to have to be the right team, the right type of quarterback. I don't feel like he can just have like a young rookie-type quarterback or a young guy who's maybe like kind of know his way in the league. Dez Bryant can't play in the court. He's got to play with an established veteran who's a really good quarterback. I think that's the only place he thrives. He is not coming back to the Cowboys, though. Stephen Jones ain't allowing that, and that is over with.
Yeah, and to even further kind of validate what you said, like even when we would have times where Romo was down, we had backup quarterbacks in, he didn't seem to thrive that well with them.
Right.
He couldn't carry the team or anything.
Exactly, and he needs like an Aaron Rodgers. He needs a Tom Brady. He needs a Drew Brees. He needs a Phillip Rivers. He needs that type of quarterback to really be successful now. And it's not like Dez Bryant is like 35 or 34. He's like 30 years old. But to me, like I said, I think his body is an older 30. And I felt like he didn't have he had very good athletic ability just with the physical nature of him. But I didn't feel like he had elite athleticism and that he would go down quicker as far as like when you see players when they get about 27, 28, they start to kind of trend down. I felt like he was more that type of athlete, and we were trying to get as much as we could at him because I felt like he would kind of just decrease early in his years.
Yeah, to me, he kind of had a little bit of that Marion Barber factor where like he was just such a physical player that he wore down quick.
And then once he was done, he was done. You know what I mean? Kind of like even Emmitt Smith. Like, you remember when Emmitt Smith, as good as he was, when you saw it was done, it instantly was done. And you see players like that, and I just feel like that's what Dez Bryant kind of is. As much as I love Dez for life, I just feel like your body would break down quicker than the other athletes that are around you.
John Patrick clears up his comment. He said, "My bad, Big Game James," the one who was referring to you as Law Nation.
That's all good. I ain't tripping.
What's up, Dale Bailey, Lisa Cawley, Willie Stovall? I know we already shouted you guys out. Brian Fitzgerald, Brad Jackson. Appreciate you all, the new people leaving comments. Arturo Lugo.
Appreciate
D.S.
you, Willie.
Faulkner. Kevin Harrison, looking back on Facebook here. Dallas Peppers. Appreciate you. Cody Battle. You guys who are leaving comments. Ford Johnson. He said real quick, why don't we commit to, or why can't we admit that the Rico Gathers experiment's over? I guess meaning like the Cowboys.
Because Dallas never wants to admit their mistakes. You know how Dallas does. I mean, look at Rico Gathers. I mean, not Rico Gathers. Look at La'el Collins. We're talking about La'el Collins. Everybody's frustrated with him at right tackle. He's probably a better left guard, and we know that. But Dallas don't want to move him over there because Dallas don't want to admit they made their mistake from moving him left guard to right tackle. So they're going to keep him at the right tackle, bulk up Connor Williams, and hope that he gets better and thicker in that middle at the guard position. But they don't want to admit their mistakes, just like with Dez Bryant. They didn't want to admit it. That's why they didn't go out there and get a top receiver, because they wanted to say, guess what? We did the right thing getting Dez. We don't need a number one receiver because Dak can do it. Obviously, we saw Dak needed help, and they went out and spent that first-round pick for Amari Cooper. Dallas don't want to admit their mistakes, and they're not going to do it. So they're just going to ride out Rico Gathers as much as they can and just leave it as it is.
All right, it's time to get to some draft talk, but first a couple comments. Willie Stovall says, I like that pullover. Big Game James, and Grace Gomez follows him up, says, I like your sweater.
Appreciate that. Now, check on, holla at me later. I actually have the website for the gentleman that did. I gave him shout-outs when he basically got the sweatshirt for me. I seen him on Instagram, seen the sweatshirt. He reached out to me, basically gave it to me for straight free. Just show hella love for me. I will get that website for you so you can go ahead and check one out. Russell Harrison, my dog, also grabbed up one as well. So make sure you check him out because he gives great prices and he does a whole lot of other things. So holler at me if you want to try to find out about this later on in my inbox on Big Game James page.
Willie also says he misses Marion Barber.
I
me
think
too.
we all do.
Chip Dudley, what's going on? McHurter Watts and Justin Quintero, Reggie Murphy, Hulk Logan. Vondell, if you missed it earlier, we gave you shout-outs for being a supporter. Appreciate you in there. Joe Tranchina, what's going on from Italy? Always tuning in every week. Alan Mems, what's up? So that's some Facebook shout-outs right there. But now it's time to get into some draft talk. A lot of people have been waiting for this. So give us a like and a share. We probably should have hit on it a little sooner, but that's all right. We got a whole hour. We'll be here probably about another 15, 20 minutes, so you can go ahead and dive into some draft. What do you think the Cowboys – how do you think the Cowboys will draft coming into this season? We hit on it a little bit, but in some more detail.
Well, I think, like I said, we still have glaring positions to me. I still think safety is a glaring position because we don't have anybody opposite Woods, I think, that are like future guys. It's more of Jeff Heath is a guy who's a good player, but is not a guy I feel like you want to see down the line with Woods to be paired as be all time, like not like all time greats, but just players that you just see can blend together as a young doggish secondary like you had with the Legion of Boom. So safety position, you have Jonathan Abrams, who we have from Mississippi State, has been looking really good. They've had him on a lot of interviews, has a real nice cocky attitude, has good range. He's about 5'11", a little bit shorter that you want at the strong safety position, but it's okay. Good size, about 212 pounds, really good player. Has good range, can switch his hips, can open his hips. They're getting ready to have him in, or I think they've had him in. Taylor Rapp is another guy from University of Washington who I feel like is kind of shooting up the charts. He's about 6'1", 212 pounds. He's kind of like a player to me who kind of does everything. He has range. He can hit you. He can diagnose plays. He's a good tackler. I think he's a guy that can play really good in coverage, a guy who can get interceptions. Wasn't a high interception guy, but I still think he's a guy. He reminds me of your boy Harrison from the Minnesota Vikings. He just kind of reminds me of him, so I think he could possibly be a steal. I also like Juan Thornhill from the University of Virginia. Really good athlete. I compared his numbers with Byron Jones, and you can see that he, to me, is comparable to Byron Jones in my eyes as far as the athletic ability. I mean, he had like a 42, 44-inch vertical, really good athlete. Has good range. I think he had a good interception ratio in college. Doesn't seem to be real physical. Like Byron Jones is not a physical player to me, but I feel like he's a guy that's good in coverage. So you got a good mesh of three good safeties that you could pick if you wanted to go that route in the first round with that 58th pick. When you look in the picks afterwards, you're talking about the defensive tackles that are still out there. They had Gerald Willis. This is guys who have visited. Gerald Willis, Jalen Ferguson, who great tape, but he didn't test well in the combine. He had his pro day. He had his pro day because he wasn't able to go, but he had his pro day, and his pro day was not good at all, not good flexibility. So you look at one thing on the tape, but those numbers are really kind of alarming because you got to have flexibility to play that defensive end position. So we're going to kind of see. Yeah, Deebo Samuel also came in. So the Cowboys have a lot of guys where you're showing kind of not your hand, but you're showing what you want. You got defensive end, you got defensive tackle, you got a receiver, and you got safety. And I think those are the positions that are going to be really pushed in the draft when we kind of start at 58. If I was to say if we were to go at the 58th pick right now, I would think safety would be the position that they would go after, especially if they nab Robert Quinn. If they grab Robert Quinn out the fold with the trade, then I definitely feel like in my heart safety would be the position. And if you didn't get an Abram because he went earlier, I think Taylor Rapp might be the way the Cowboys will lean to in the 2019 draft. So I'm just kind of listening to your comments right now. I don't know if you're kind of checking out. What's up, Carlos Martinez, Joe Chantrina, what's up? Any news on Crawford? They haven't really said anything about Crawford getting suspended. I think everybody's going to watch it. I think we should watch with Bob Kraft because that boy was in some prostitution, had a video that he didn't even want to show. So let's see about his suspension because everybody's talking about Tyrone Crawford. Let's see about what's going to happen with Bob Kraft because all these other guys get suspended with these very light penalties, but you see them always trying to smack the hammer on the Cowboys. So we'll see what happens with Crawford. There was no arrest, but there doesn't have to be arrest, as we've seen with Ezekiel Elliott, where there was no arrest, there was no nothing, but yet he still got 6 games. So I don't really know what's going to happen with that Crawford situation because they punish who they want to punish. They go after who they want to go after, and that's just the way Roger Goodell does, and he gets on my nerves, so I don't really want to even talk about him no more. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Holt Logan with the Boise State connection. I feel y'all, but if you look at the Boise State connection, it has been successful with Dallas. I mean, you can't dog out Leighton Vander Esch. I mean, you've seen what he came in, monster. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's a bookend at the defensive end position. Who else we got? Tyron Crawford. He's a good player. I mean, we've had some guys. Orlando Scandrick was good with us for a little bit. He was a Boise State player. Cedric Wilson, I think if you give him a chance, I think he's going to be a good player. They had that Boise State connection when they brought Scott Linehan to me, but I just feel like they really like those players, and they're not bad players. We get Boise State players, they're not bad players, so I don't really get mad at that connection when they talk about I call them the Boise State Cowboys, because I think we got like 8 guys that we've had come through the Cowboys kind of pipeline with Dallas, so I'm not mad at the Boise State connection. Yeah, I mentioned him. I'm not mad at the Boise State connection. I like it. Would I like them to see get those Alabamas, the Auburns, those guys like that? Yeah. But if you get guys like that come from Boise State and they're very productive, you can't get mad at that.
Well, was there anything else to hit on? You want to go through some comments or? Well,
just if you kind of see the comments, because it's kind of hard for me, but just kind of sticking with that draft, because I'm excited about this draft because of the players that we got in the fold as far as free agency. When you do really good in free agency and you didn't spend a lot of money in free agency, that gets you excited about the draft. I've been excited about other drafts, but this is a year where you see a lot of depth. Maybe not superstar players at the positions, but a lot of really, really good players and a lot of good depth. There's a lot of good depth on the defensive end position, a lot of good depth as far as the defensive tackle position. So we can go in there, or the Cowboys can go in there thinking like, hey, we didn't have to reach for a defensive tackle maybe at 58, so the next pick on the 4th pick, we can get a defensive tackle and still get a good quality one. And that's what you want, and you still stay young. And it's on a rookie contract, so you're not paying him a lot of money. You're not paying the guys that you brought in a lot of money, and it's blending. So when you look at the whole salary cap as a whole, they don't have a lot of money left. I think like $12 million because of the tag and the guys they just recently signed up. And once that contract kind of happens with DeMarcus Lawrence, you'll see if any other money kind of opens up. But right now, the Cowboys still did not do it the wrong way, did it the right way, and got good quality players. And it makes it a luxury. I'm telling you, we can go in that draft and say, you want to get a safety? Nah, let's get a defensive tackle. No, you want to get a receiver? Because it's not going to kill your team. That's great when you're going into the draft.
What's up, Ryan Dye? Looking at Facebook. Catherine Elizabeth Ramos. Alan Mem has a question. I'll get to that in 1 second. What's up, Ralph Kelly? Carlos Martinez. Appreciate the new comments coming in. Jeremy Ice, what's going on? Before we wrap the show up, I want to get to at least this question here from Alan Mems. He says, what about trading Byron Jones and get back into the first round around pick 24 through 29? What do you think about that?
I don't think about it because they're not going to do it. I just kind of look at when we talk about trade scenarios, draft scenarios, I really just try to look at what's really going to happen with the Cowboys doing. I'm not saying I have the all third eye for the Cowboys, but I'm just going by the trend. They're not going to trade Byron Jones, at least not this year. I don't feel. They're going to use that option year and you get that as much as they can out of him and then go from there. I don't think they dangle him. Would I be mad if they did? Nope, because I feel like he's a good player, not a great player, so I wouldn't be mad if you wouldn't go crazy. But I definitely feel like if you did trade him, you better draft another cornerback. There's some guys out there. There's some really good cornerbacks out there that can fit the bill. So I wouldn't be mad at that, but I don't see the Dallas Cowboys trading Byron Jones this year.
Hawk Logan says, didn't Iloka play at Boise? Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Jeremy Ice wondering about Barry or Quinn. If you rewatch the show, go back. That's our first topic we talked about was Robert Quinn, and we discussed Eric Berry just a little bit.
I don't think Eric Berry's going to come. Just to reiterate on the Quinn real quick on those two subjects, I don't think Berry's going to come, not just because we got Iloka, but because I think he wants more of a multi-year deal where he's going to want more years, and I don't think the Cowboys want to commit to that with the injury history and the age. I don't think, and they feel like if they got George and you still got Jeff Heath and you draft a safety, they feel like they're going to be okay with that. They love Jeff Heath.
What's up, Terry Turner and Terrence Shorts? Appreciate you guys leaving comments and tuning in today. on this great Sunday. We'll be back next week for sure, so don't forget you guys to tune back in next week. Also, I want to know if you guys have any suggestions for the show. Is there anything else that you can see where maybe more content you want to see in the show or other ways you think we could improve? Let us know, inbox, comments. Either way, I need to see some feedback from you guys, the fans, of how you think we could improve the show, because we can do whatever we want up here. So, but I see a lot of people now in the comments talking about kickers and running backs, and Willie Stovall says, is there anybody you see in the draft to back up Zeke? And then before you answer that, Arturo Lugo says, I'm going to bet we draft a kicker this year.
I don't know why we would draft a kicker this year. You can get a kicker off free agency. I mean, kickers are a dime a dozen to me. Don't spend no damn draft pick on no kicker. They better not do that. That's first of all. Second of all, as far as the running position, there's a guy, Texas A&M Williams. I haven't really got to look at the running backs. There's a kid, John Henderson from Memphis, who I like because he's really fast. Also, Justin Hill is a guy that's kind of come up, and I've seen him in the comments as well, like 4.3 speed, super fast. I think the biggest thing with the Cowboys, because I don't feel like Rod Smith is going to be coming back, so I think the biggest thing with the Cowboys, if they're going to get a backup for Zeke, I want somebody who has some decent size but has some really good speed. I don't want no big bruising back to back up Zeke any longer, because Zeke is bruising enough. And he has good speed, and and you can throw it out the backfield to him. But I want a guy who, as soon as you give him that ball, he can break through that hole and take it to the house. That's the type of guy I want as a change of pace back for Zeke. Marcus Randall leaves a good comment, and you and I were talking about this like last week when I came over to your house. He said, that's the reason we reached for Taco was out of need. Now we can pick the best player available. Yeah, and that's been the theme. We reached when we went and got Taco. Taco, I'm not bashing Taco or anything like that, but he probably should have been a second, maybe third rounder at that time. But, you know, when you have a pretty good combine and you have good size like he did, 6'6", 270, 275 pounds, it's hard to pass up on that, especially when you feel like you need a pass rusher. So, as you said before, as we've been saying before, go in there without feeling like you need to reach for something and you're going to get somebody you really want. I've also brought up a name that if this person wasn't picked at 58, Jeffrey Simmons from Mississippi State as well, defensive tackle. He had he blew out his Achilles, and so he may have dropped a little bit, and he maybe had some flags behind him as well, red flags. But if that guy's available at the defensive tackle position at 58, that's another option you can do and get him and let him rehab, get ready for midseason, because that dude is 6'4", 315 pounds of monster. You know what I was thinking about? Like, what about Drew Lock, the quarterback? Like, could he be an option maybe in that second round if he's there? Like, no, don't draft no quarterback in the second round. We got a dude named Mike White. Give this dude, Mike White, a chance. I had an interview with him. Make sure you check that out as well on the page. Give Mike White a chance. He was actually a good quarterback at Western Kentucky. Good size, about 6'4". He throws a good ball. If people were watching last year and during the midseason, they were having those throwing passes, those throwing contests, and that boy can throw the ball. He had a high completion rate at Western Kentucky, and he was one of the most sacked quarterbacks in that division and that league. I think give Mike White a chance. That's why they drafted him in the 5th round. Let's see what we have in him first before we try to draft another quarterback. That, to me, is a wasted pick, especially when they're probably going to sign Dak to a contract extension this season. McCurdy Williams has a funny comment. I guess people laughed at it. He says, do you think the Cowboys are going all the way to the Super Bowl this year? That is funny. It's hard to say right now. I mean, you got to think the chances are pretty decent. You got the Rams and Saints. I mean, honestly, you can say that, but ain't nobody. If you look at the power polls and the power rankings, Dallas has no respect right now because people are tired of saying the same thing about the Cowboys. It's the same thing every year. We get a lot of good players, we get a lot of talent, but we underachieve, and that's the problem with the Cowboys. We underachieve. We have the talent. We have the talent to be in the playoffs every single year, to have winning records, to have a 9-10 game season every year with the talent we have. But our coaching staff just doesn't get us over the hump. It's too up and down. 1 minute it's the NFC East, winning the NFC East. The next year it's not making the playoffs. You know what I mean? The next year it's making the playoffs. The next year it's not making the playoffs. It's too much of the inconsistency, and we underachieve as a team and as a staff, I feel. And that's the problem. And until we get that rectified or the Cowboys get rectified, it's still going to be the same thing every year, folks. we can have the talent. Just like I said, we can get excited about the guys we brought in. I am. We can have a hell of a fire draft. We can look at the players we have, but that don't matter if we have all these players and the coaches still don't get us over the hump. So that's what it is really about. I ain't talking no Super Bowl when we ain't even got to an NFC championship in how long? Over 20-something years, man. We can't talk Super Bowl when we ain't even seen an NFC championship.
Martin Ortega says, do you feel our window is closing due to the players that we have to sign? He says, I believe Jalen Smith will be a free agent next season. I just want to say real quick before you answer that, my quick thought is I feel like the Cowboys are trying to build the team to where players can only play their rookie deal, and then we'll be good after that.
Right. Well, it's kind of like if they look at – they're trying to model, I think, in a lower level, the Patriot way, that just like you said, after your rookie deal – and, you know, Dallas is notorious. They don't pay linebackers a lot of money. You get what I mean? Van Der Esch may be an exception if he keeps on playing the way he is. But, you know, that's going to be something to see. You know, with Jalen Smith, is he going to get paid a lot of money because Dallas doesn't notoriously pay linebackers a lot of money. So you can see the Cowboys trying to run the rookie deals. If you're in the first round, get that fifth-year option, maybe franchise you. If you're not, move on. We already drafted your backup. I mean, your replacement. That's what you're supposed to do in the league, in the NFL, in the NBA. Those type of teams that continue to win are those teams that do that, not the team that holds on to those players year after year and keep on extending their contracts. You only get a rare player that you get like a couple contracts with these teams or 3 contracts. That's a rarity. That just doesn't happen. When you get in 2, you're doing good. Most of these guys only get 1. You get what I mean?
And usually when you got to pay a guy like that, the rest of your team is kind of strapped.
You cripple your team. So just like when you see the Seattle Seahawks now, they draft good and they spend their money right. But
that's the key, drafting good.
They draft good. That's the thing, and that's what Dallas has been doing recently. But when you see how
Except
much
for 2015,
yes, but when you see how much money that they spent on that defense with Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, and all those guys, and you had KJ Wright, those guys, you spent all that money on that defense. Now other people aren't going to get paid, so it's going to cripple maybe your offense. Maybe your offensive line isn't good now because you can't pay all them people, and then now you see they're all gone.
Yeah, that's going to make things interesting. I was going to say we're going to hit on that some more next week for sure, like some guys with contracts coming up. How are we going to be able to try to keep people? You know, Cooper's going to be demanding a ton of money. I saw you put some kind of post about a receiver.
Julio Jones
wants $20 million.
Yeah, they're talking about him being the highest paid. If he wasn't already, I can't remember, but $20 million annually for Julio Jones, who he's one of the top in the game. He's been proving it year after year, so you could say he's earned his money. But Amari Cooper's sitting there looking at that like, I want to get paid as well.
Yeah, we'll talk more about those situations next week, as well as some more drafts, some more free agency. Hopefully we have a new Robert Quinn update by that time. What's up, Ralph Kelly, Darren DeLeon? I'm looking at Facebook. Brad Jackson says, loves y'all. Keep rocking out. Appreciate that comment. We love when you guys send us positive, good comments. It gives us a lot of motivation. It makes us feel good about what we're doing here. So thanks for that. We certainly appreciate the comment. Patrick Mott says, what about offensive linemen? Don't we need to get quality backups because of the injuries at that position?
I definitely feel like they are going to draft an offensive lineman in this draft. The visits at the 30 pre-draft visits, I believe they're bringing in at least 4 offensive linemen. I posted that. Make sure you check out the Silver and Blue Nation Big Game James page. I posted the visits on there, and they have detailed breakdowns on each one of the players that the Cowboys have brought in or are bringing in. So make sure you check that out. And there's, I believe, about 4 offensive linemen on there. I'm not huge on the offensive linemen, folks, so don't sit there and try to press me about them. I'm not huge, but what I will say is this. Tyron Smith, we do have to start looking for a replacement eventually for him because he's 28 years old. He's been in the league since he's been 19. He's had the back issues. He's had a lot of injuries lately in the past 3 years. Yes, is he still one of the best? Yes, but that back is a concerning issue, and I feel like you need to have somebody watching and backing up him. I know we got the Cam Fleming signing, but I think Cam Fleming is okay. I don't think Cam Fleming is great. So I feel like you definitely need to start looking for a replacement. And I don't feel La'el Collins is going to get a second contract with the Cowboys. He may get dangled in the draft. I'm just throwing that out there. But I also don't think he's going to get a second contract with the Cowboys.
Yeah, you talked earlier about Dez Bryant being like an old 30. That's kind of like like Tyron Smith being like an old 28.
He's an old 28 to me. Like, I don't feel he's going to play till like he's 35. Son, you see a lot of offensive linemen that can play till like 34 and 35. I don't see Tyron Smith doing that. I can see him retiring at like 30 or 31 years old.
What's up, Rigo Ramirez on Facebook? Jay Glass, some new comments coming in. Appreciate you guys. Lamont Graham, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Ralph Kelly says, love y'all. Appreciate that comment.
We appreciate you, Mr. Kelly.
So before we wrap things up, let me see if we got anything over here on YouTube. Some new viewers over here. What's up, Biggs Lewis? Appreciate you leaving comments. Antoine Goins, Jeffrey Karen. Yes, thanks for all those comments on YouTube as well. John Jones. We love all the interaction.
Yes, we appreciate everybody who be hitting us up on YouTube, Facebook. Keep on. We've been getting our Instagram. Our Instagram been popping lately.
Make sure you guys go check out Instagram. We don't post a lot there yet, but we will be posting there. I mean, frequently. It's going to be coming. Also, we have a Twitter. We're not huge on Twitter or Instagram really, but we need some more supporters there too. So
we're a lot better on Instagram.
Go over and check us out there.
We're a lot better on Instagram. Go ahead and check us out on Instagram. We've been having a lot more followers on there, which is nice. I've been liking the people. We put in like about 5 or 6 new videos, it looks like, recently. So make sure you check those out. And we're going to have some more because obviously we got these signings about to come up. Hopefully that Robert Quinn gets nailed. I know we're going to definitely be having it popping when that draft comes because I feel like this is going to be a good draft for the Cowboys. So like I said, and like Producer G says, Facebook, we appreciate y'all. YouTube, we appreciate y'all. Instagram, Twitter, all that. Wherever y'all at, Roku, we appreciate you. Thank you. Cowboys Experience. Make sure you check us out with that because we've been doing the cahoots with the Cowboys Experience with Barry Griffith. Make sure you check him out. And we just appreciate all the support and become a supporter. Support the page because the more you support the page, the more we can do and make us grow. Continue to give, like Producer G says, great content. As I said, I got the lab in the crib now, so we're going to be doing things in cahoots that we weren't able to do before. So that's just one more thing that we're trying to grind out for y'all, especially for this new season that's about to go down. Support, support, support.
Yes, what's up, Dino, tuning in.
What up, Dino?
Dino ain't been in there in a minute. We appreciate you, Dino.
Dino goes hard.
Daquan Cole says, good show, guys. Appreciate you, Daquan. Hulk Logan, the Instagram is Silver Blue Nation. You take out that little ampersand symbol. It's Silver Blue Nation on Instagram. It'll probably pop in, too, if you type it in the way we spell it on Facebook, Silver and Blue Nation.
So let me ask y'all, let me ask the fans right quick before we get off here. What would be your grade so far? We might be done. Dallas Cowboys might not be done. What would be your grade so far in the free agency, how the Cowboys have done so far? Give me a grade of what you think the Cowboys grade would be. I'm going to go a high C+. I will go the B if they nab Quinn.
Yeah, I'm going to give them a B because I feel like they've quietly added some good depth to the team, and they've added more players than they've lost so far. So I feel pretty decent about it. You know, a lot of people don't like it because it's not the big flashy names, but Randall Cobb is a prize. We'll be excited to see him addition to the offense. So I'll give him a B and feel pretty good about that. Some people are already leaving grades. Hulk Logan gives a B-. Annette gives a B. Jesus a B+. Catherine a B-. Ryan a C. James a B. Keith a B. Joe a C. And Marvin Hargrove a B. Willie Stovall gives a B. So trying to get everybody's in there.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the consensus, people are going to say B because that Randall Cobb signing really pushed. I feel like probably the Randall Cobb signing pushed that grade up. Because a lot of people were really wanting, when we heard Randall Cobb was visiting, a lot of Cowboys fans got excited. So that would probably push that grade up to the B. The George Iloka, I think that antetered. But then when you really look at the Kerry Hyder and the, Covington signing, I think those are the really good signings on the defense because that's really good depth and they're young players. They're both 25 and 26 years old. That's really good.
A few more grades in the Facebook section. Arturo Lugo, B-, B+ with Quinn. Dino gives a B. Rigo gives a B-. Marquise a B-. Starboy, solid B. Floyd Pera gives a B-. Cliff a C+. Vondell B. John Zapita B. Daquan Cole's a B. Dino wants to know about Robert Quinn. Again, Dino, he can hit on it real quick, but we did talk about that. That was our first topic on the show, so if you kind of want to jump back and look back at the beginning because you did just tune in. You definitely missed that. LaDonna gives a C+. It'd be a B with Quinn. And Terry Turner says a D until they sign D. Law.
Oh,
that's a good one.
That's a real good one.
Murray gives a C.
That's a real good one. I'm feeling that one
because he's on the tag, so he's technically is there. He's like he can't go to another team, but he's not signed yet.
Right, and yeah, I think Cowboys got to get this done. I feel like I don't want to do this thing where we're doing draft picks and getting a first rounder. I really like D. Law. I feel like he's just really hitting his prime. He's really the leader of that defense now. It's just like he really took over the defense. There's a changing of the guard. We're not even mentioning Sean Lee. That's a good thing. Remember when we were talking about Sean Lee?
Right.
We brought Dallas Cowboys brought Sean Lee back.
He's just an extra now.
He's just an extra now. You're not even talking about Sean Lee when just a year ago the sky was falling when Sean Lee got hurt. So it's a great thing when you're not even having to mention Sean Lee, but they have to get D-Law signed at all costs right now. To me, I don't want to have to go and deal with the draft picks. Get a guy who's already there. Go out there and try to really get Quinn if you really can make that happen. Just really get that defense nasty. But D-Law is our guy. He's like the man. Like he's not like a DeMarcus Ware, but he's the guy of the defense right now to me.
I just want to get because this kind of been on my mind. This is way off topic what we've been talking about. But just one little nugget, little thought of mine before we wrap the show up. I was thinking about Dak Prescott and how a lot of people hate on him or want to dog him, say he's not the guy. But I was comparing him to Romo, as everybody wants to do. When you think about Romo, he sat 03, 04, 05, played half the season in 06, didn't even become a full-time starter until his 5th season. Dak is just now starting his 4th. So let's wait a little bit before we, give him that big judgment because Romo hadn't even played yet at this point in his career, and you see what he turned out to be. So Dak might not even hit that prime, or he might go to another level in year 4 or 5. So I just wanted to give my quick thought on that for people who are really wanting to get another quarterback. I mean, let's just give him at least till when we've seen a full dose of Romo, which was his 5th year.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and give you props on that because you were mad at Dak Prescott all season until the very end. You started coming back to Dak because you was mad at him.
That Giants game he played when he didn't have Zeke, that really showed me like, okay.
But you can't admit you was mad at him though, right?
Oh yeah,
you
I think everybody was. I think you were too. We can go back and look at some rants.
You're right. You heard my rants, but I wasn't ready to throw him in the trash though. I wasn't ready to get rid of him, nothing like that. I was cool.
I had some moments of that.
You had some moments of that, but that's good to hear, and that's a great point that you just said because 3 years Romo didn't even smell the field, and you saw how good of a career he had.
Right.
That came in, and he wasn't. Remember, people need to understand that if Romo never got hurt, Dak Prescott would not be playing for at least a couple years, right? If Romo would have stayed healthy, Dak Prescott was not seeing the field for a couple years anyway. That was the plan. They were not even trying to have Dak smell the field. Remember, Kellen Moore, when Romo got hurt, Kellen Moore was going to be the starting QB, not Dak Prescott. So the plan was never to play him. So the fact that they were never going to play him because they didn't feel he was ready to see what he's done in these 3 years for a quarterback who was drafted in the 4th round to say he was not ready, I think he's had a pretty damn good career for somebody who was supposed to be sitting the bench his first couple years behind a quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. And the reason I bring this up and have me thinking about it is because last week I posted a picture. It said something about these. I can't wait to see these 2 studs, and it was Dak and Zeke. And
they were hating.
Yeah, everybody's going hard like, oh, you mean like the way he looks, he's a stud? Like it's not his play. And I got to defending Dak, and I'm thinking like this dude's averaging, like if you just look at his averages, like 4,000 total yards every year and 30 touchdowns damn near every season. Like people kind of want to forget about his rushing element that counts. That's overall numbers, 30 total, almost 30 total touchdowns averaging every season and 4,000 total yards. I mean, that's big time.
I mean, and we've seen the escapability.
That's part of his game.
You've seen the running and the escapability when he does run, how much he creates and how much he changes and opens the offense when he does add that running element. And as you said before, does he throw the prettiest ball? No, we know that. Does he need to work on some things? Anticipation, footwork. Yes, he needs to keep getting better. We got John Kitna in the fold, and now you got Kellen Moore, who I believe, since Kellen Moore is young and they grew together, that's going to only help Dak Prescott. Remember, Scott Linehan was his coordinator, and you've seen what Scott Linehan did to a lot of people within the offense. So let's see what Kellen Moore can do, John Kitna can do, because now he's going to have even more freedom. And I'm not mad. Third year to me was the year you had to prove. And what'd he do? He played better than his second year. And every single year he's had a winning record.
I was going to
say.
say.
2 NFC East titles in 3 of his years. And he's been a winner. He's been proven. He's not completed under – as a career, 65% of his passes. Everybody talks about his accuracy. You have to be around that to be a really, not a really good quarterback, to be just a good quarterback. That is the bar, and he's been at that bar the whole time. People just expect us to sit there and have this pocket passer that's throwing for 5,000 yards every single year. But if you're not winning games, nobody gives a hell if you're throwing for 5,500 yards and 50 TDs. Nobody cares about that if you're not winning. And that's what Dak Prescott has proven. No matter what Cowboys fans can say, they cannot take that fact. He is a proven winner, and that's what you want at the quarterback position, period.
Yeah, that's what I didn't even mention too. Like on top of those great stats that I just read off was the 13-3, 9-7, 10-6, 2 division titles. 2 Pro Bowls already as well?
Yes.
And I think Romo only had 2 Pro Bowls for his whole career. I know it's a little bit different now because guys easily just kind of stop. They don't want to play in the Pro Bowl, but still, I mean, that means that he was one of the better quarterbacks.
And see, fans can complain all they want to. We can complain and say we want to, but we're not in there in that huddle. We're not in that locker room. And from what I've heard and seen, we've been up close, I've been up close, that they consider him the leader of that team. They believe in Dak Prescott. And as long as the team believes in him, doesn't matter what a fan says. A fan can cry all they want because they're not back there. And like I said, you've seen games this year, man. We were down and out. The defense held us. But how many times did we see Dak Prescott making these unbelievable plays when he's about to get sacked? We had the Dallas Cowboys top 10, and damn near half of them was Dak Prescott shaking people up, making great plays. The play to Cole Beasley. That Giants game.
His last play of the regular season.
We talk about when Romo juked out J.J. Watts for that play. Dak Prescott did that. He juked out J.J. Watt too and threw that long deep ball. Yes, it probably wasn't supposed to go to Tavon Austin, but just the fact that he was able to do that. How many times have we seen Dak about to get sacked? He breaks them tackles. He has a great big run. You seen it in the Seattle Seahawks game, in the playoff game when he ran that 14 yards. We needed a big play. He broke through the tackles, almost scored a touchdown. People need to stop bashing him, man. The dude is a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's great, but he's a damn good quarterback, and he's a winner. And as long as we keep pieces around him to build around him, I feel like he's going to continue to get better. He's not going to get worse because he hasn't shown it that he's a person that gets worse.
And we're up against the time. We got to go. But just one last thing. Ralph Kelly also makes another comment. He says Dak is big and strong and stays healthy. That's another compliment.
Yes, he hasn't missed a game. Health. What are we crying about with Romo? He couldn't stay healthy. What was the reason why Dak Prescott even got in the lineup in 2016? Romo, injury. So that is the biggest thing. Not only, and what we've been talking about with Sean Lee and other players, health, staying on the field. Doesn't matter how good you are if you're not playing. And people talk about remember when we were watching that Washington game, he got smacked and it looked like he was going to be out with a concussion.
Yeah.
He came right back in and fought the whole game. The dude has not missed a game his whole career.
And everybody in the comments kind of talking about it, and that's what I said when I originally started up this topic was that Giants game kind of did it for me. Like, no Zeke. I know the game didn't mean a lot. There wasn't a lot of meaning on the game, but just the way that he put the team on his back and he single-handedly pretty much scored points and won the game.
He won that game.
It was a great catch by Beasley, but still he had to scramble, make the throw, and that game right there.
Wasn't that on 4th down?
I felt it was. Yeah.
It was on 4th and 14, and that was for the game-winning drive, G.
That's where I was like, all right, because last season in 17 without Zeke, it was like, I don't know, he still went 3-3, but just wasn't really making plays. But that game, you really saw him take the game and put it on his arm and his shoulders, and he won the game, and that was a huge game for him, and I felt good about him after that. So now I'm defending him.
I like that, and you better stay defending him. I don't want to hear no more, UG. Hear a bad game, you wavering. You stay defending him now, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Don't want to hear it no more.
I'm with him now. He's gotten up there to being one of my favorite players. So that's it for the show. Maybe we should thank our supporters one last time if you want to kind of run down the list of names again.
Yes, can definitely thank our supporters. And we got some new ones, so let me not forget. We got Vondell Jackson. This is for our Facebook supporters. Please, like $4.99 start you out. man, it's going to just get good. I don't want to keep on talking about, though. But Vondell Jackson, my dog, he's been in here today. Raymond Burrows, if you've been in here, I haven't seen you. Ron Smith, I ain't seen Ron Smith in here, but he's one of our proud guys, been with from A1
Might
day
be the
one.
first show he ever missed.
For A1 day one. Floyd Hope Jr. has been in there. Floyd Hope has been great, been on the page, great knowledge. Big DeJuan Coles, that's my dog. We basically grew up together as well.
Daquan?
Yes, sir. So he's a proud supporter. He's been a Cowboys fan from day one. You know how it is when you meet a Cowboys fan, right? We were basically going in junior high, and when we first met, we were talking about football, and I said, "Who's your favorite team?" He said, "Cowboys." You're friends for the end, and that happened. Once you say you're a Cowboys fan,
how you and I met.
you automatically fans. Y'all automatically cool. Y'all automatically that breaks all
There's
the
a
ice.
bond.
Everything is cool. Y'all A1 day one. So appreciate you. Our Patreon supporters. We got Erica Shannon. We appreciate you. Katina Wright, who's been with us from the very beginning. We love you, Katina. Marvin Hargrove. He's trying to get that Facebook supporter today too. You're gonna talk to him about that, but he's our Patreon supporter. You can pay support on the Patreon as well. Ron Garrett, who's been a great supporter since he's jumped in, and we appreciate you. And also Will Richards. He's out here in the CO, Columbus, Ohio, with us. So we definitely appreciate you and everybody who's supporting, and we even need more support after that.
Start on one of those music beds if you could, please. Okay. Big Game James on the ones and twos. No, we're just gonna get a little music bed, take us out. There we go. We're in there. And yeah, so I mean that's it, guys. Make sure you tune back in next week. Maybe we'll have something before then. I don't know. We're trying to get his situation going where he can stream.
And interview. We got some interviews popping because I was supposed to have Tom Downing from Dallas. Was it Dallas Sports Chat?
Chat Sports.
Dallas Chat Sports.
Cowboys, yeah.
I was talking to Tom Downing, but he got married. Went out and got married. He was going to jump on the show last time. But he went out and got married. Congratulations to you, Mr. Tom Downey. But we're probably going to have him on next week. So look for him to be on. Might be some other surprise people. I'm always on Twitter, always on the grind, trying to find out some new good interviews. May have a player, current or in the past, but you never know because the grind is always going on. So make sure you always support and continue to watch because you never know when some popping interview is going to be on this page because it's always grinding over here. Grind time 24/7, 25/8.
Cuz says, let me know how to say his name.
Oh,
Your cousin.
my cousin.
Or whoever you said that with. Daquan, is it?
Yeah,
how you say
DeJuan.
it? DeJuan.
DeJuan. That Q is silent.
Okay, a silent Q.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
DeJuan.
DeJuan Coles, got you. DeJuan. Ralph Kelly says, great show. Dale Bailey, great job, guys. Hulk Logan, love you guys. Appreciate it. We love you all. Grace Gomez, Joe Tranchina, some final Facebook shout-outs.
Italy.
Lisa Reed. Yes, Italy watching. That's huge on a whole different side of the world.
You know we worldwide because, I mean, I wish we
Whitley
could,
Stovall.
I wish we could have the list, G, of all the people that have hit us up from so many different places because it would be amazing.
Yes, all
and
the
we
states
appreciate
and
the support.
countries.
I mean, New Zealand has been Guatemala. I
had
mean,
Alaska,
it's been Panama,
Hawaii.
Alaska, Hawaii. It's just been crazy. Italy, all over and abroad. I remember we was
We've had some UK.
UK. What was not what Osama bin Laden? What was that, Afghanistan, something like that? Because when we had the troops,
I mean, there's a whole bunch of little countries over there.
Yeah, they was over there in Afghanistan because they were watching our games because they really couldn't get the NFL Network.
That was when we were doing the watch parties.
Yes, when we were doing the watch party, they said we were their guys, and we just really appreciate it. So I want to give a shout out to our troops and our soldiers who basically have supported us as well. So salutes to you guys because I got a whole bunch of family that's military bound and in their background. So salutes.
Yes, hopefully we can get on them shirts and that kind of stuff here soon too. Biggs Lewis, South of Heaven 88, Milton Green, Cowboy Vet 71, Say Primetime jumped in there, Stevie Mack, a lot of our YouTube regulars. Appreciate you guys. You all have a great Sunday, a great week, and make sure you check back in with us next week. Until that time, that's Big Game James.
That's producer G Voltron.
And we'll see you next week.